Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of AngularAir. I am Justin, your host, and on today's episode, we are going to be learning how to create apps with Angular and Firebase. Always fun to be playing with and learning about Firebase, from everything from real-time data updates to just regular management of data and authentication, all kinds of different stuff that you can do with Firebase and in our Angular project. So really looking forward to it. Let's dive in, say hi to our panelists, and then we'll say hi to our guest, and we'll get to the content. Joining us today, we've got Alyssa. Alyssa, how's it going?
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here.
Awesome. And our guest today is Ankit. Ankit, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? I'm very excited to be part of AngularAir.
We are very excited to have you. So looking forward to it. Do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself for those that might not know who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Ankit. I am currently working in Hyderabad, India, with ADP as a senior member technical. I have over 6 years of experience as a full stack developer. I am currently working as a mainly as an Angular developer and using .NET as the backend. I am also a community contributor, and I write articles and also contribute to open source community on GitHub. So I am also a GD for Angular, and I have written 3 books. And the recent book is on C#, which was published 2 months back. And I also like to explore new technologies, so I am exploring Firebase and Blazor, which is in my list, and I am excited to be on this. So.
And weren't you the first person to publish a Blazor book?
Yes, I was the first person to publish a book on Blazor.
All right, I'm going to have to try and refrain from talking about C# and stuff. I mean, in .NET, I used to do a lot of that development, and I really enjoy those languages and those frameworks. So I'll try and refrain from the excitement of, but maybe that might come out. I might have some of those discussions on here too.
Yeah, I am happy to work. I am happy to discuss full stack development.
Nice, awesome. So what do we got started today? Angular and Firebase. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so let me give a brief idea about the Angular and Firebase. So Firebase is a backend service provided by Google. Actually, it was created by Firebase Inc., but the Google later bought it, I think, in 2014. And then with the help of Google technology and Google structure, it has grown manifold. And I like to say Firebase as a backend as a service. It provides you a lot of features. So few of them is I will show you let me go through that. Firebase.google.com is the official website link. There you can go and see. It will provide you database. You can have authentication and authorization with Google login, Facebook login, any the third-party app also you can do. You can have performance monitoring for your application. You have hosting. You have real-time database, testing. A lot of things are there. There are almost 18 applications are there. So you can go to firebase.google.com and you can go through all the features that are provided by Firebase. So what I am going to show you today is I'll be using Firebase Cloud Firestore database as my backend and Angular on the front end, and I will be creating 2 awesome applications. So first application will be a blogging application. It is similar to WordPress. So this application is almost 1.5 years old. So I'm working on this application since last year, Feb, I guess. And last year in Angular Connect, I have a mini workshop on this in September, and so I went to Angular Connect and I had a 1.5 hour mini workshop on this how to create a blogging application with Angular and Firebase. So this is similar to WordPress, and I got this idea from my own blog which I have, AnkitSharmaBlogs.com. You can go and see all the awesome articles which I have written. And there is a second application which I am more excited about. It is very small but it's very interesting. That is TicTacToe game. So TicTacToe is very simple game. It's a basic programming, but the USP of this application is that it is hosted on Firebase, and since I am using Firebase Database as my backend, so I can play with anybody in the world. I can invite. I think we should play with Justin today. I'm going to play live, and you can see everything is going in real time. So this is the 2 applications which I am going to discuss today. So coming to Firebase and Angular, talking to how to integrate Firebase and Angular, that is the first step. So you have Firebase, which is something sitting on a cloud or something, a separate backend, and you have an Angular application which is your front end. So how you are going to integrate that? So let me share my screen and I can show you some demo. It will be helpful. So Justin, I'm sharing my screen right away, and let me know once you see my screen. I think it
Yep,
is, yeah.
we got it.
So yeah, so this is the login. This is a site you have to go, firebase.google.com, and then you have to log in with your Gmail ID, and then you have to click go to console on the top right corner. Once you go to console, you will go to the console.firebase.com. Here you can see I have some projects already created. So similarly, you have to create a project. So let's click on add project. Give it a name. Let's say I give it a name as AngularAir, and click on continue. Here you can set some values for your application. Right now I am going to keep everything as default. So the idea is that you will create a project on Firebase, and then you will integrate that project with your Angular UI. So that is how this is going to work. So it is creating a project. It will create in a minute, and then whatever we do in this project, everything will be integrated to our UI. So we'll see how we can integrate that. So let it create. Okay, it's ready. Click on continue, and now you can see the project overview page. Now on the left side you can see we have different options: authentication, database, storage, hosting, everything. So we are going to use authentication, database, and hosting today. So we'll see how we can use it. So let's go to database first. So if you go to database, we have to create a database here first. So Firebase provide two options. You can click on create database. So you can provide let me see, there will be an option to select type of database. Yeah, here you can select it is a cloud Firestore database. So there's option start in production mode, start in test mode. So I'm going to put in start in test mode, because for production mode we have to do some extra configuration, and just to for the interest of time I'm going for test mode. You click on next, and you can select any location which is near to you. Click on done, and your database will be created. Now once the database will be created, you will get some API key and connection details for this database. So you have to use that in your application. So I will show you how to do that. So let it create. It will give it a minute. Provisioning cloud Firestore.
And is that connection information, is that something that we can check and commit into our code?
No, we cannot commit into our code. That should be kept secret, because otherwise anybody can access. So that is a problem.
But then there is a piece that's needed for our application when we ship it for it to run and connect, right? But that piece can be. Is that
yes, correct. So yeah, here you can see there are two databases: real-time database and cloud Firestore database. So I am using cloud Firestore database because it is more advanced and better than real-time database. So now there are some slight differences, but Firebase is more promoting cloud Firestore more than real-time. That's why I prefer cloud Firestore database. So it's a NoSQL database. It has everything in JSON format. That's why you can see the word is start collection. But right now we are not going to do anything here. We will do everything from our code. So
this is for the TicTacToe app?
For any of them, either for TicTacToe or for the blog application, first we have to create a database. So right
I was
now
thinking, oh, if it's TicTacToe and you're playing with somebody else, you want it to be real time, right? So like in my head, I would have like gone with real time. So you're saying Cloud Firestore will handle essentially real time.
It will handle. We'll see that also. So I am just showing you the common part. So in both the cases we have to go for database. So database part is common. So I will show you once the database is created, we are not going to create any collection from here. Everything will be handled from the code. We'll see that in a bit. But now the question is how you will connect this database to your app. So click on this setting icon, go to project settings, and at the bottom you have to select the which there is no app in your project, so you have to create an app. So you have to select the platform: iOS, Android, web, or Unity. So for me it's web. Click on web. Again it will ask for the name, so you can give any name, like say I will give AngularAir, and click register app. So it will register an app, and you can see once the app registration is successful, it will give me a Firebase SDK details. So this is the magic. So I will copy this. I will go to my app. I am giving you one example here. So this is the app where I will create the blogging application. So you can see I already have things in environment.ts file. I will put all my data over here. Now, second step is I have to install Firebase module, Angular Firestore module, and I have to import that in app module. And then in the imports, I have to initialize app using my configuration. So this is where our connection works. So this is the part while initializing the app, it will get the config details from Firebase. It will get the config details and then it will talk to Firebase. So that is where we connect our Angular application with Firebase. So this is the key point, and whatever change, and that is how we can talk to database. So for database part, I am coming to that. Let me show you some services. So before going to services, let me give you an overview of the app which I'm talking about. So that is called blog site. So this is the URL, blog site 30C69. So I will share that in the description, and then you can go and play around. It's open, and here let me log it out first. So once you launch, it will show like this. Here you can see I have put a sample disclaimer because this is a sample blogging app. People should not confuse with a real-time app. And here you have some articles already written. If you click on this, you can go to article details page. You have the social share option, and you have also the comment option. But you can only comment if you log in with Google. The interesting part is URL. So see, the URL is lorem-ipsum, and the same thing is the title. So for the SEO benefits, I have written a custom pipe which will convert my title to this URL slug and append to my URL. So wherever I go, whatever, let's say if I click on this best app blog, the title is here and the same thing is in the URL slug also. So this is for SEO benefit, which is very important for any blog. So let me log in with Google. So once you log in with Google, you have the option to edit and delete the add the blog. So here you can see that buttons are added for edit and delete here, and there is an add post button. Let me click on add post, and here this is a template driven form. I will like first post, something like this is a demo post, and I am using CKEditor, so you can get all the features of a text editor. So let's say if you want to send heading 2, if you want to set some table, you can have some table over here, something you can put something here. So all the editing feature and all, it's a complete editor. You can get all the list values and everything. You can get what you can get in editor. Click on save. It will be saved, and you can see it on the home page. Now you have edit and delete feature. If I click on edit feature, you can edit something like this, list 2. If you click on save, again, if you go to first post, here you can read the data, whatever I have inserted. Here it is showing my name because I have logged in with Google, today's date, which I have write the article. And since I have logged in, I have option to post the comment. So let me post a comment also. And again, we have all the required field validations, and I'm using Angular material because it looks good. I prefer it over Bootstrap. And you can write some blog, nice blog and something, and click on post comment. As you post comment, your comment will be posted over here, and here again date and timestamp is there. Also you have a delete option. So now there is a tricky part. So the application which I am showing you is it is since public facing, that's why I have not implemented the admin and user module, because I want everybody to use it. But the code which you can find here, the link is given, the source code. The source code has a authorization scheme also implemented. So for that, only the admin has the access to delete the blog, sorry, delete the comment, as well as delete the blog. So there is an option to delete the blog also. So this is restricted to admins only. So this is already configured in the code. So this is how it works, and this is completely mobile responsive. So yeah, everything is completely mobile responsive, and you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Let me share this on Twitter. If I click here, I click on tweet. That's it. Close this. If I go to my Twitter account, you can see that it is shared over here. This link is shared over here. So that is how
all of the database, all of the authentication, user management, all that stuff is done via Firebase. Is that correct here?
Yeah, so the Firebase is handling the authentication part and authorization part. This sharing, this link, everything is done by my app, but I am storing everything in database. So I will show you the database also. Let me show you the database here. So this is the database for my blog application. Here you can see we have three collection. One is app user. So here I am getting the three data from every user who logs in, the email ID, name, and photo URL. Why I am getting this data? Because I have to show it. I have to show it here. You can see there's an image coming. So this is my image from my email ID and this name. So that is how if anybody logs in, he can see his image and his name over here. So I'm storing these details over here. And these are the public details which is provided by Gmail on login. So there is no security concerns. Then this is the blogs collection.
Real quick on the user. So you're able to go to Firebase. You're able to say, I want to allow authentication and authorization. And then you're able to configure in there what fields you would ask for from a user when they use single sign-on. Is that correct? So like you can say, hey, we want to allow the photo URL and their email address.
No, I am by default allowing email. I am by default allowing the photo URL and name. That is by default I am allowing. And for the admin only, I am configuring it. So I will show you in a bit that we can add extra field over here, and we can add it as the is admin. Then we can use that in our Angular application. So I will show you how I am handling the admin part. So let me show the blogs part over here. So there is one very interesting thing. If you see the blog, so here you can see the blog is stored in form of HTML code. So why I am storing blog in HTML is that while fetching the data, it will be easy for me to maintain the formats. Otherwise, I have to. Otherwise, there is no way I can know the format. So while adding the post, it can be any format. We have multiple formatting options are given. So how do I know that if user is using a paragraph, heading, or list? How do I know? So for that, I need to store the HTML definition. So that is how I am storing the HTML definition. And while fetching, I am directly adding it to the UI so that it will be displayed in proper formatting. And then we have date and title. That is how my blogs are. Similarly, we have a comment section. Comment in the comment document. Oh, I think there is no comment. So you see, right now there is no comment. Let me go here and let me add a comment here. Okay, nice post. As soon as I comment here, you can see it is added here. See, blog ID, for which blog I have put the comment. What is the comment date, which is datetime.now. What is the commented by, who comments, that is the name again is coming from my Gmail login. What is the content, what is the email address. So this all data I am putting over here. So somebody again put a comment.
Hey,
Alisa. so Alisa post a comment, and see this, everything is working in real time. As soon as she posts the comment, I get it here. And if I go to my site, I can see same thing over here.
And so real quick, you didn't go back to that tab and refresh it.
Yes, exactly. That is what I'm talking about. I didn't refresh it. That is the best part. I didn't refresh it. It is pushed from Firebase. So it is working similar to SignalR. From server to client, it is pushing the data.
SignalR.
You're doing it again. You're mentioning these other .NET stuff that I'm going to want to talk about.
That is sick. I've actually never heard of it. Is that like, is it Firebase on .NET side?
No, it's completely different. It is something related to .NET where you can push data from the client server to client. But I'm just giving an example. It is something similar to SignalR. So you have worked with notifications in your mobile and all. So it is kind of based on SignalR application. Since I am currently working in an application which uses SignalR, that's why it come to my mind. So and same way it works both way. So what if I make some changes over here? So let's say it is showing great post, very useful. I comment that, I will write bad post. And see, as soon as I update here, see, it is updated bad post. I have not refreshed the page. So that is how it works.
Okay. I can't wait to see the code. Are you going to show us the code?
Yes. So let's go to the code. We have enough demo. So this is the folder structure. Let me show you in a bit. So this app is a bit complex. We have a lot of components. So
Matt Carson asked WebSockets ?
I so this is the so the first part is let me show you the services where I am calling the method. So here is the services. I think the screen size is enough for you guys to see that. So first we have to install few package. One of them is Angular Firestore package. So we will install that, and then we will inject in constructor. And see, this is the get all post method. So whatever the post is on the Firebase, it is coming as a observable. And this is my model, and I can also order by, so that I can always show the latest post on the top, and then I can map it to my model, and I will return it. So similarly, we have get post by ID, update post, delete post. So similarly, we have this. So now, if you want to, now the question is, I also want to create this application. How you will create this application? So simple. I have written a free ebook on this. So you can download it from here. It is completely free. You can download it, and I have explained in a step-by-step manner how to create this blogging application from scratch. I have explained how Firebase work, how you can talk to Firebase and Angular application. So I will share the link, and you can go through it, and you can learn everything step by step. So we have blog service. Similarly, we have comment service. So in the comment service, again, it is similar to blog service, where we can save the comment and then get all comments for a particular blog, where I'm sending the blog ID and I'm fetching the data, and I'm again returning it in the model, and again delete all comments for a blog and delete single comment. So what is the difference? So let's say if I delete a particular blog, let's say if I go here, I click on delete this button, then all the comments for this blog should also be deleted. That is why we have delete all comment for a blog. But if you go here and see this unique one each comment, if you want to delete single comment, you have delete single comment method. So that is how my service is structured. And if you look at the component, I will show you which component should I show. I will show you the add post. Let me check. Blog editor. Yeah. Sorry, not this one. This one. So in the blog editor component, let me show how we are working here. So I am using CKEditor for the editing capabilities. So let me walk you through it, how it is working. So this is something. This is a set editor config method, which I will invoke in on it, ng on it. And here I am setting what are the fields we need. So here you can also see I have put the remove plugin image upload and media embed. What does this mean? So this means that CKEditor provide a lot of plugins which allows to embed some videos and upload the media also, but I am not handling uploading of image. The reason for that is, when I created this application, I don't know how to upload to Firebase, and now when I know, I'm too lazy to update this application. So that's why you cannot upload a file, upload an image to your blog. But if you have image stored on some other server, you can directly reference it here. It will work, because anyway it is referencing to some other server. Similar, so that's why I have removing these plugins. And then in the heading option, I am setting what are the names and how it will work, what are the classes will be there. So that's how this particular heading is coming. And this particular thing, this blog box is coming by default. So that's how I am setting the editor config. And then we have save blog post method. So I am using template driven form. Let me show you the HTML quickly over here. So in the HTML, it's pretty simple. We have a CKEditor tag over here. I am passing the config which I have created, and I'm using ng model to bind to my model. And then you put a debounce here, so that it won't call it won't save every time I put a debounce of 300 millisecond, but it is just for a demo. Even if you remove the debounce, it will not affect in a small demo application. So this is how my editor, so this particular block of code will show me this editor. And then we have save and cancel button, and again we have required field validations over here and some message. So this post data dot content will contain my content, and then I will add the date over here. You can see I am using current datetime.now I am sending. So this will have when the blog is created. So this is the date when the blog is created, and I am getting the author name also. So how I am getting author name? This dot app user dot name. So what is this? Let's see. So this dot app user is a subscription of Auth Service. So let me go to this observable. So this is an observable. So once you log in, so this is the Auth Service. So once you log into Google, once you click on login button, this is the code which will be invoked. I have put the comments also so that people find it easy to understand. And here you will get the return URL if you have some authentication failure. And there is something called sign in with pop-up. So if I click on this login, you can see a pop-up will open. So that's why we have sign in with pop-up method. There is something called sign in with redirection also. In that case, you will be redirected to another page for the sign in. And then once the sign in is done, it will return a firebase.auth object, and I will update the user data for that. I will get, so here I am setting the name, email, and photo URL, which I have showed earlier. And then I am here, this is the line where I'm setting in the database. So you can see app users. So what is app users? App users is my collection name. I am putting db.doc app user / user.id. So for every user ID, I am setting these 3 fields. So this is the code which is doing that. And this name and email and photo URL I am going to show on the screen. So how? Let me show the nav bar. In the nav bar, nav bar component. In the nav bar component, I will subscribe to this, and I think here, here you can see the photo URL here and the name in the nav bar I am showing, and this is coming from the login details which I am storing in my database. So that is how the auth service is working. And again, we have guards in place for admin guard and auth guard. So how admin guard and auth guard is working? So I told you that we have configured something called is admin. So what you have to do is you have to let's say in app user, okay. So this is the data. So I can add a field over here called is admin, and I will set the value to true, and I can add it. So this is one thing which I am doing manually. So ideally what we should do is that we can have a separate app or a separate page where we can configure the admin, but just for the simplicity for this application, I am doing this manually from backend directly from the database. So once this particular property is set, this guard will kick in. It will check if the user is admin, then only we should allow all the admin properties, and admin can have the delete access. It other people cannot delete it. So that is how I have a guard setup. I also have custom pipes, 2 custom pipes, experts and slug. So what is excerpt? So I will show you what is excerpt. Let me give you a demo. So here you can see if I click the app, we have a lot of content over here, but on the home page you are seeing a small preview, that is excerpt. So that is the excerpt pipe is doing. So what it is doing, that first it will get all the data and it will remove all the HTML tags. Remember I told you earlier that we are storing data with HTML tags. So once we fetch the data, we will remove all HTML tags using this what you say this code, and then I will take the first 300 characters and I will display over here. If it is more than 300 characters, I will show first 300 characters, else I will show everything here. So that is how the excerpt pipe is working. Similarly, we have a slug pipe. So slug pipe will take the title and it will replace all the spaces with hyphen. So where I am using that, I am using this slug pipe in this page. Here you can see here I think title, create date, not here. I am using this in blog card, I guess. Yes, here. So what is block card component is, you see this this card based structure, mat card structure. This is where the block card component comes in picture, and here I am getting the title, I am sending it to slug. So that is how my URL is being built. So if you click here, you can see the title as a URL slug. So that is a basic idea. And for this sharing option, I am using ngx share, which is an open source library. So it is pretty straightforward to set up. You have to go to app module, You have to go to app module and you have to set your custom config with your Twitter account and details if you want to share with Twitter account, and then you have to directly get the icons and all you have to set up. I will show you social share. uh, Here in the social share option, you can see I am getting the icon packs to show the icons which I want to use, and it is directly getting the from the third party library which is called ngx share. And also we have a scroller, so a scroller will kick in when you scroll down, and that's it about this particular application. Also we have a pagination at the page. So let's say if I add something, let me log in, I will show you the pagination in action. If I log in with here, I can add post, I can write demo post, this is second post, save. So here you can see we have a pagination option, and the URL will update with page-2. And also we can select how many items per page you want to show, 2, 4 or 6. So that's it. That's how this blogging application is being built. And you want to see the code is available on GitHub. And also I have a free ebook which you can download and read, and you can see the thing, you can learn how to create this application step by step. So that is published by C# Corner. It is one of the community which I am connected with since last 3 years, and it is published there, and you can download it for free, and you can create this application step by step. So what do you guys think about this?
Very nice. Very nice. I have a question.
Yeah.
On the authentication and authorization, I noticed like in the code, you have calls to connect to Firebase to do the interaction with the database, right? But there's no calls, there's nothing in that code that indicated that authentication would be part of it or authorization would be part of it. Is that handled on the Firebase side? So say like the delete post, like how would you guard the delete post from only allowing an admin account to be triggering that?
Okay, I will tell you. I will show you that particular code. So here, for delete, I am using this. So I just showed you that we have a observable, and this observable has the property is admin or whatever the property I set, and then it will be returned from here. So we have an admin auth guard also. There is an admin auth guard. Wait, let me show you the admin, the auth service here, auth service. So in case of auth service, once you log in, it will return the user credentials over here. Okay, and see, once I click on the login with Google button, one thing I forget to share, my bad, one thing before we go there. So here you have to go to authentication, and then you have to configure your authentication here. See, the Google is enabled. So you have to go to your Firebase project, and inside authentication, go to sign in method tab, and you have to click enable here. So basically that's it. If you click enable, the Google authentication is enabled for your application. And once that is enabled, I am calling this sign in with pop-up, and this firebase.auth method, this is provided by Firebase, this Angular Firebase/app module. This will take care of that. This Firebase.auth will take care of that. I'm using Google Auth provider, so this will take care of that, and it will return me the credentials here, user credential, and then that I will update in my database. And when the user try to access the things, I have a route set up over here. Where is there is an observable of app user. So inside the observable of app user, here you can see I am getting data from the database, and that's how I am getting all the properties from database. So let's say if the user has is admin property, it will fetch that is admin property, and if user is not logged in, it will return null. So once my observable is set up here, I will again go to this block card component. Sorry, not block card. It will be which component? Blog no block card component. Yeah, block card component. I will in the component, I will subscribe to that observable here. Observable subscription is done, and in the HTML, I will directly use ngIf to check if the isAdmin is there or not, and that's how I will control the admin and non-admin users.
Cool. Cool. Thanks.
So shall we move on to next app, which is a TicTacToe game app?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will give you an overview of this application. So this is a TicTacToe application. So all of you have played a TicTacToe game, and still a lot of people are still playing. So the USP of this application is that you can play with anybody in the world. I can play with you also. So how it works? I click. This is the home page. I click on new game, and I get a unique ID here. This unique ID is connected to my Firebase database, and this wise what I like to call is my game board. So let me first click on this and let me share this with you. Justin, you want to play? So I will share this in chat, private chat. You can open in your machine. So once you open in your machine, you can see that it is showing you player O turned player X. It is showing in your machine, right? So are you able to see? Are you able to open the link, Justin?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. So since the rule in the TicTacToe game says that whoever plays first is the player X. So that's why I have taken. What I am doing is, since I have created this board, this is my board, so I will be the first player. That's why it is showing you player X, and that is my first turn. But in case of Justin, it will be showing you player O and turn player X, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
I see that.
so I will click X here. Now, Justin, it's your turn.
Ooh, pressure's on. All right.
Yeah.
We go there.
So, yeah. So now I will click here, and
of course, I gotta block you.
yeah. So I will click here, and now now
right.
I will let Justin win. Since
I need that.
Since you are the host, now see this player. So now in the both the screen is showing that player O has won the game, right? And at this point of time, if I try to click here, it will not allow me to click. It is disabled. The game is done. Now if I want to play again, I click on reset game. Now the game is reset in both of our page, both of our board, right?
Yep.
So we can play again, Justin.
Okay.
So that is how it is working.
I don't get to go first.
Yes, you want to go first. There is an option. Yeah, I am coming to that point. Now let's say I have shared this URL with you, but this is my board. This ID, if you see in the URL, you can see this ID only, because this is my board. You are playing in my board, but you have to create your own board. So how you can create that? Go to home page and click on new game. You have not clicked on new game. That's why you didn't got your own board. You have to click on new game. Then in that case, you will see a separate URL, and then that will be your board. And then you can play with anybody. You can share with. Now you have an invite option over here. So the motive of this game was I want it to be as light as possible, and I want everybody to be able to play. So I made it completely mobile responsive, and you can invite your friend using these like WhatsApp, Telegram, Messenger, SMS, email, anything. So if you want, let me show you a demo. I think WhatsApp will not work. My system is the. Let me click on email. So if you click on email, you can see the message: join me for a game of tic-tac-toe, and the link. Right? You are getting everything over here, and I can send it to whoever I want, and they can click on that link and they can join it. So that's how you invite the people. So this is more friendly when you are using mobile, because you have WhatsApp, Telegram, and Messenger, these things which people frequently use in their mobile. So, and again, as usual, this is open source. Everything is available on GitHub. So how this is working? That is the first question. So everybody know the logic of tic-tac-toe. So the logic is very simple. I have to see horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. If they have same values, then player is won. Otherwise, the game is not won. So let me go through the database. So in the database, I am storing the data. So since I have to bind, right? So I am sitting in another machine. Justin is sitting in another machine. So how we will connect? There should be a common connect point. So my database is the common connect point. And you see this ID, this particular ID I am not sure if we can search over here. I think it is not allowed. So this particular ID, okay, for some reason I think I am not able to search here, but okay, that is fine. So this I will give you the example of any other field. So this particular ID over here, what is happening? Give me a moment. There is some problem with the database. Yeah, now it come. So this particular ID is my URL. You can see in the URL, this is my game. And for every game or every board, I will put the current player. So it will change dynamically as we play. And I am storing data on per row. So I will show you, since we have this. So since I am the creator, I have the ability to change it anytime. So let me go to that board. Here you can see, now you can see here in the row 2 already X is selected. If I click on reset game, it will be cleaned up, and here you can see the data is cleaned. Now if let me show you a demo with like this, so you can have a better understanding. So let's say okay, there is a problem. The problem is, since I have accessed other person board, so I will be always be player O. How I am doing this? This because I am also storing data in my local storage. So I will show you where. In local storage, if you go, you can see the game ID is stored. So I am matching if the data stored in local storage is same as the URL. If this is same as the URL, then it is your board. You are the owner of that board. Else it is someone else board. That's how I am turning the player. So let's go into the code. I will show you. Here I have only one component, and there is navbar. So navbar is just pretty simple navbar with all the navigation buttons. So let me show you the component details over here. So here I will show you when the game is initialized. I will set the array. What multiplayer service of set array? What set array method will do? That it will initialize an empty board and set the current player to X, because that is the player who has started the game. And then at the same time, I am subscribing to this method fetch game status. So this fetch game status method is going to fetch data from our collection, this game status collection, which is here. The collection name is game status. So it will fetch data from here, and I am passing the game ID. Game ID is my this document ID. And then I will subscribe to it, and I will set the board. So let's say, so this is very core part. This is where the real time things work. So as soon as I click on X on my machine, the code in Justin machine will get the subscription, because his subscription, it will keep on updating. And it will fetch the latest data from database, and it will set the board with the latest data. So what is we are doing in set board is, this is set board method. Here I am setting the value in each row as we are getting from database, and then we are saying that if what is the current player, also we are setting the current player. So here I am setting the current player value, and it will keep on switching after every turn. So we are setting the if the game won condition has happened or not, and this game won condition is pretty simple. The logic how a tic-tac game is won, I am checking horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. If we have same value,
yeah,
then
sure. Super simple. Just check every direction.
Yes. So the core logic is very simple. Yeah. So the core logic is very simple. And after this, I am setting the current player. So in the current player, this is a very interesting thing. Here you can see I am doing something this even and odd. So what does this do? What does this mean? What we are doing here? So let me explain you in this way. So when the first player who will play is always X. So it has turn number 1.
Are you using modulo there?
Yeah, I am using modulo. I am telling
are.
you. Yeah, so I am telling you the logic behind that. So let me okay. So the first player will play is X. In next turn, we have X and O. In next turn, we have X, O, X. then next turn XO, XO. So if you see, in the first time we have even number, sorry, odd number. So X is the last player. And then this we have even number. So O is the last player. Then again we have odd number. So X is the last player. Again we have even number. So O is the last player. So that is how this logic I am using to set the current player, because I have to get the data from the database, so which I am getting the cell value over here. I am finding how many cells are filled, which it will give me this sum. And if sum is even, means if even number of cells are filled, then the last player was O, else the last player was X. So that is how I am setting the current player. And if the sum is 9, means all the 9 fields are filled, then game is finished. Game finish is true. So, and again we have a reset game method, which I have showed you over here. Where is that? Here the reset game method is there. So if you click on reset game, everything will be reset to the initial state of the game. And if there is no win and game has not finished, it will ask you a pop-up that game has not finished. Do you want to reset it? And then I will show you the HTML. There is only one component for this. In the HTML, what I am doing is I am creating a grid, and every cell is a button. So why I am using button is that it is easy to handle the click event on button, and I can give some styling, so it will be easy for me to style. That's why I prefer button. You can have any text box also. It's not a mandatory to use button. And I'm using a matrix to create it, 3x3 matrix. And then here I am using some status. If you see what is U and what is turn. So since I am storing the data in database over here, the current player detail, so it will allow me to store show this data. What is who is you and what is the turn of the player. So this is where I am setting this value. And finally, we have an app invite game friend. So how this invite friend is working. So in the previous application, in the blogging application, I showed you that we are using a third-party library called NGX Share. So here also I am using the same library, NGX Share. And using NGX Share, you can show these icons for WhatsApp, Telegram, or any social media you want. And here you can have a message. You can set a message. So this is where the message comes into picture. So while I was showing you the demo for the email, you saw that there was a message that joined me for the game of TicTacToe. So it is the game of TicTacToe, and then I am sending the URL along with that. So now how I am creating the game URL. So to create the game URL, so if you see one thing, if Justin got the invite, he got the invite from my board. But if you click on share at the same time, I don't want him to share my board. I want him to share his board. So what I am doing is, in the nav bar component, a nav bar or app component, I think in the app component, let me show. Yeah, in the app component here. In the app component, as soon as you launch the application, it will initialize a data for you in the database, and it will set a value in your local storage, the game ID. It will be set as soon as you launch the application. And when you click on share button, this particular game ID, which is now your own board, will be shared with your friend. So that's how you get the data. So this is how I am distinguishing between my board and some other person who cannot have access to my board. He cannot share it. There is a limitation here. The limitation is, right now, if I share this link with anybody in the world, anybody can play. So we can have more than 2 players also. But that is not something which TicTacToe allows. We cannot have more than 2 players. So in this case, I am still working on how to do that. I am unable to find any solution, but I think that is fine for now. That if you are want to play with your friend, you can invite him at the same time, and only you two knows the URL, and only you 2 people can play. You should not share it publicly, otherwise any other person can join, and it will be a problem if we have more than 2 people. So that is how the whole.
What happens?
If it seems confusing to you, there is a source code already available, and it's not confusing. We have only two components. Very simple app. The only thing which I am doing is the code thing. Let me show here. The code thing is this ng on init here. So here is the subscription, and as soon as the app is initialized or any change has been made, the Firebase will broadcast the data, and every subscription will update. So that is how I am updating the things in real time. Rest everything is just plain old simple tic-tac-toe game.
I love
Very
it.
cool.
The man uses modulo and scoffs at the simplicity of the app. So I
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. Hey, I want to plant a seed for going forward with a possibility here. What Firebase has all these different options, these things, the services that it provides, right?
Mhm.
And one of it is Firebase Functions.
Yes.
Would you be able to think about taking the decision on who's the next player, as well as if the game has been won, and putting that into a Firebase function and using that? Would that make sense?
I think that will work. I have not tried that. So you are saying that you want me to move this logic from my code to Firebase functions, and then I can directly use that.
Yeah, because one of the things I think about in terms of game stuff is like the more that you have in terms of the rules on the client side, the more possibility that the client could manipulate that, right?
Yes,
And say,
yes,
I won,
yes.
right? Or it's my turn 7 times in a row. So maybe like taking that logic and moving it to Firebase functions could then allow it to not be manipulated, but still try
That
to
is a
have
great idea. That is an awesome idea. I will try that. That looks a great idea, and it will enhance the security of this application. So when I started, I didn't think in that depth. First, I was just looking at all the possibility to apply all the business logic.
So, Shorty, if the logic was moved to functions, can you explain how the flow would work? Would it constantly be like checking the function for the rules, or does it like get them one time? Like, how do you know how that works?
I guess it would probably be like, do you want to execute the function and have the function talk directly to the database to figure that out and update the database as the next person's turn or whatnot?
Okay.
And then the app just reads from the database as it's doing to get the information, like the state data, right?
Okay.
Yes, something like that. But in that case, I think I won't be able to move a lot of thing. Only like this, some static logic like setting the board, or if the code logic of checking the win. But for this subscription and all, I have to put in my code so that it will keep on updating in the real time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what's really compelling and cool about Firebase, right? Is like you just showed 2 applications that did different types of things, CRUD versus real-time communication, and all that stuff. There's all the plumbing and everything that's needed for all those pieces, from authentication to the data. All could be accomplished by using Firebase as your backend.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Really
yes.
cool.
Yeah, Firebase is awesome. So I like to say Firebase as backend as a service. It provides you awesome facilities, and you can make some great application with it.
Very cool. Very cool.
And also you can deploy for free. So if you see, these apps are deployed on Firebase. You can see that firebaseapp.com. So you can, and same with this blog site. So
That's
this
another thing that we didn't talk about, right? Is that they do hosting, and you can use your own custom domains with that, right?
Yes, we can use custom domains also. But I am not sure how to configure that, but that would be pretty straightforward. So if you go to hosting, I will show you. If you go to hosting over here, I don't know. Yeah, it takes a little bit time. Here you can see my app URL. Add custom domain. See this? Add custom domain. You can directly add, verify ownership, go live. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. And here you can see my release history. How many times I have released? 1 by 10 of many. So I think I have released more than 50 times. 30 times. Yeah, it is showing 30 times. And it is very simple. The deployment is very simple. Right now I cannot show because in my local the app is not in a deployable state, but I can give you just overview. And adding one more thing, the deployment steps are mentioned in my book. which I have already shared with you. So you can download it from there and you can read the deployment step. So what you have to do is you have to run ng build prod as usual. And once you run the ng build prod, it will create a dist folder. Right now it won't here dist folder it will create, and the dist folder, see the Firebase configuration is already done. So once the dist folder is created, open the command prompt, write Firebase login, and it will ask you to log in with Firebase, which you whatever the email ID you want to use. So let me show you. I think you can see this.
Yeah, and so this is the Firebase CLI that Firebase provides.
Yes,
right?
you have to install
better.
Firebase CLI. Yeah, you have to install Firebase CLI also. I don't remember the command, but if you can Google, you can find it easily. So you have to install Firebase CLI, and you can log in with Firebase. Then you can use Firebase init to initialize. I am not sure. Let me go to my blog and Firebase. So I have already published a blog where I have talked how to deploy a Blazor application on Firebase. So since Blazor is a client-side app, so again, sorry, Justin, I went to C# mode, but just to show how to deploy the steps on Firebase, I will show you the. So once you create your project, you have to click on login with Firebase. So you have to click on Firebase login. Command is Firebase login, and after that you have to click Firebase init. After you click on Firebase init, it will ask you a set of questions. So you can answer according to that, and then finally you have to add Firebase add your project ID. So you remember we created a project at Firebase initially. So you have to add your project ID and finally click on Firebase deploy. So here is a Git GIF image. So if people who are watching, they can watch this GIF image, and here you can see everything in action. See that here you can select what you want to do. Here I am selecting hosting. So once I select on hosting, I can select which app I want to use. So I will select the my app. Then I will select the public folder name, which is a dist in my case. Then I have to configure this as single page URL. So I put it as Y, but I don't want to override the default index.html. So I put as no. And then here I will put Firebase deploy. Sorry, Firebase use project name. Add project name. So once that project name is project is added, I can use Firebase deploy, and it will be deployed to that application. So here you can see. Yeah, so just one last step is Firebase deploy. Once the deployment is successful, you can get the deployed URL. You can directly visit it, and you can see the. So that is how I have deployed the both of these application. And it's free for any sample application, but I think the Firebase is a freemium product. So for some basic apps, you can got everything as free, but for some enterprise level application, it has paid subscription. So you can go to the Firebase site, and you can see all the details over here, like pricing and use case, document, support, and it has a very good documentation also. So here you can see all the pay as you go and free plan, the two plans it provides Firebase. You can see all the plans over here, and you can use anything you want. And if you go to products, you can see it provide 18 products. All the things are given over here. You have Cloud Firestore database, which we have used. Then you have ML for machine learning, hosting, authentication, real-time database. Then for app quality. So there are total 18 products which Firebase currently supports. So you can go to this document and you can read about them.
Awesome. Well, we're at the top of the hour, so we got to wrap it up. We're out of time.
Yes.
But very cool. All this stuff's been great. Ankit, thanks a ton for coming on the show, sharing your time, sharing this content, and educating us on Angular and Firebase. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Justin, for your for inviting me.
For sure. And we look forward to having you on again in the future for some more.
Yeah, sure.
Be great.
Yeah, I have few more things which we can share. Maybe currently I am working on making our Angular app interactive, or more you can say smart. So I am using cognitive services, using Azure Cognitive Services with our Angular application to make the app more smart. So maybe in some next time we can have a chat on that.
Sounds good. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks everyone. Have a good one. Catch you next time.
Thank you.
See ya.